I think that so this is from Rico Staines, who thinks that I think that the Pepsi and Budweiser meta stuff is going to give crypto a bad look because their products will most likely experience a hack. What do you think about that, Joe?
I think you have a lot of companies that are starting to see crypto as some type of demographic, and they're kind of building half-baked products to it's excite and engage that demographic. It's where the kids are, right? And have you ever seen, who is that actor, like Steve Buscemi or something, where you see him with a skateboard and he's like, "Hey kids."
Yeah. That's Steve Buscemi. That's right.
How I kind of interpret a lot of the corporate products that, sometimes we see spun out on chain. Some of them are somewhat interesting. In reality, you could look at like Reddit doing NFTs is somewhat interesting, but then you have others where, you just kind of scratch your head and say, okay, do you really want to be in a Pepsi metaverse? Or, I don't know. I just kind of see it as trying to market where there may be a new and growing demographic. But yeah.
Well, look. I mean, you have to also, and this is something that I've also been kind of talking about on social media in the past few days. Is you also have to understand that this is not a new thing, right? You can look at other industries and, in fact, other parts of the tech industry where, so the big boys are trying to copy pasta the success of innovation. The companies that kind of paved the way and became these big successes because they brought innovation to the market. And so the big boys are trying to monetize, right? They're trying to find the quickest way to monetization, and they copy pasta this stuff without really understanding, basically being kind of tone deaf, right, to why these things are a success and why some things won't be a success. For example, why are NFTs so popular, right? So now you could make the argument that they're worthless, or they're just JPEGs, or they're just whatever. Art's the eye of the beholder. So you paid whatever 1,000 erg for that monkey picture, and that's just a monkey JPEG. Bottom line here is that regardless of how you feel about the actual product, that product has been very instrumental to adoption of blockchain tech. I mean, you have to really, regardless how you feel about NFTs themselves, if you feel yourself if NFTs are just a bunch of bullshit or they're not, you have to recognize the fact that NFTs have played a crucial part in bringing more new faces and new users to blockchain that we would have not had before with other stuff that we had, right? So and people that haven't really been and never actually used blockchain for anything are now, the degens that are coming into the space, and they're using blockchain for their monkey pictures, but they're still using blockchain, right? So that kind of brings us to the big boys trying to imitate this stuff by the Budweiser meta stuff and the Pepsi meta stuff and the all this other stuff. The metaverse is they're kind of trying to throw darts at a really large dartboard, but hoping that they're going to hit. But that whole dartboard is just like, it's all twos. None of them are 10s or 20s or whatever. It's just all small numbers. They don't get it. They think if they just throw enough darts at the dartboard, they're gonna hit enough twos to to monetize. Is that a good strategy? I mean, it's the same thing that happened during the .com boom. I remember my first main job was for a company called McGraw-Hill, which is a book publisher. I'm sure some of you know this company. It's a pretty big company, and they had this is back in 1990, like 7 or 8. And this is, just when the .com boom was picking up and websites were the big thing, right? Everybody wanted to have a website. Everybody wanted to have a web page, right? And then you had McGraw-Hill, who just dumped all this money, and they had like 15 or 16 different websites, right? But none of their websites were generating any traffic. And they started thinking, well, wait a second, we dumped all this money into websites. All these other websites are getting traffic. Why aren't we getting traffic, right? So they hired me to basically give them an SEO strategy back in the 90s, back when SEO was just wasn't even a thing. And that's because they try to copy success. They try to copy pasta success, but they didn't understand the tonalities of that success. And so they ended up with a whole bunch of junk. And I think in the end, I mean, this was going to happen with these guys. If they don't get to that point of where they understand why this stuff, why people will be interested in this stuff, because big names don't really mean that much. There have been big names that have tried to meta stuff, they tried to NFT stuff, and they just were none of this stuff sold, or half of it didn't sell, or whatever. It was just a abysmal failure, right? And if these guys don't really start to really listening to why these some things are successful, some things aren't successful, there's going to be a bunch of junk again. Will it experience a hack? I mean, it's hard to say. It might not. So it doesn't. Just because these guys are doing it doesn't mean there's going to be a hack. Could there be a hack? Yeah, anything can be hacked. So I don't think that just because they're doing it, they're more prone to hacks. But I think the actual doing it comes from a place where it's just, it's again going back to the, Steve Buscemi with the skateboard in school. It's like, hey kids, I'm one of you. Like, yeah, okay.